Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to talk about two trades which I took, totaling at 10.3% profits over these two trades. So I short sold BTC and I short sold Solana. I'm going to break these trades down right from the beginning. So let's start off with the weekly time frame because this is how I generate my bias pretty much. So what can we see here? First of all, we can see a key level, and this red line here marks 24k. This is pretty much my downside target. So let's have a look at this chart. This is what I saw. This key level, which I marked up, roughly 31.5k, was acting as a support over in these areas and these areas. You can see that the wicks strongly rejected, and we saw price pretty much rally from here. So what I saw was this support has now been turned into a resistance. So now we're below this and rejecting it to the downside, like rejecting it to the upside, however you want to say it. Pretty much support was flipped into resistance. I combined that with the fact that we are in a bearish trend, and you know what classifies a bearish trend? It's lower lows and lower highs. So we have a high here, we made a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You can mark these exactly how you want. This is just how I saw it, right? Everyone's gonna do it slightly differently. This is what I saw. So lower lows, lower highs, and we flipped this previous support into resistance. So what does that mean? If it's a resistance now, more than likely we're gonna head down to the next key level, which I believe to be 24k. So let's go into the daily time frame. What you can see here is the trade, and you can sort of guess like what I did here. So let's break it down. Previously, we had seen price rally up to this area above 31.5k. We formed the doji. Straight away, we saw price make its way down. Pretty strong, like it was a pretty bearish day. And what that told me is that once price made its way up, it could not maintain above this level, and it dropped instantly. So that tells me that around this area, there's a lot of selling pressure, and that is also confirmed by this area here. So this was the first break and then retest. And then from there, that's when I realized, okay, this previous support has now flipped into resistance because price could not hold above it. This would have been a nice trade to take, but you know, you can't take every trade. So I decided to wait and be patient and wait for the next one. So how did I know to enter here? Since I knew that this area here, there was there was very strong selling pressure, I just marked it out, right? So you got this key level and you have the top of this wick here. So you know roughly in this area, there's a lot of selling pressure. So if I wanted to sell, which I did want to sell, and why? Because I have that bearish bias, because like from what I told you slightly earlier. So I wanted to wait for price to come up to this area. So let's go into this a little bit deeper on the 4-hour. What we saw here is price attempt to make this break up, right? So you might say, oh, but Dion, look, lower lows, lower highs, but what's this? It's a higher high, and now we've seen higher lows being formed. But look, this is what I thought. Doesn't matter what's happening here, in my opinion. We did make a higher high, yes, but the fact that we could not hold above this key level and we dropped straight down from there tells me that, look, even if price comes up to here, there's no guarantee that we're going to make that higher high. And I had to wait, right? Because just because price came up to this key level it does not mean that price will immediately shoot down. In this case, it did. But let's look backwards, right? So you see this area, strong drop. Look at all the wicks in this area. This also confirms to me very strong selling. So we're making lower lows, lower highs. You can even mark out this box here, something like this, right? Now, it is quite a wide range, but look, I'm not planning on taking any sniper entries until price action has confirmed something for me. And what price action confirmed for me was that we did have a very strong rally, right? We didn't even get a close on the hourly charts. So on the 4-hour, we did not even get a close. We had price break up, instantly reject it, and we held below this level. So let's go. Oh, also look at this. Here's the high, right? This is where the candles closed. We actually made a lower high from this area. So this rally, what I believed it to be, was pretty much like FOMO. People were buying into it. blah blah blah, whatever, all the retail traders buy 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 buy, and they probably wanted to continue this trend because they're like, you're bullish on BTC. If you hold crypto, then you want BTC to be bullish, because then the whole market's going to go up. Now, unfortunately, based on the trend of the market, I'm not bullish, right? I already explained the whole lot to you, so I'm not bullish, so I'm looking for shorts. I saw this lower high from this high being formed, rejecting this key level here. But that's not all I wanted, pretty much. So you can see there was a bit of consolidation here. If we were to see from this rally, which is making highs, we had a rejection, right? We came down, still sort of like, we did reject this area. So technically this is a higher low, but that's still not enough. We need that higher high to be formed. Otherwise, it could have just formed the double top and dropped down, which is kind of what we saw here. Many rejections, saw rejections here. And then from there, we started seeing the bearish volume pick up. I believe I entered this on the 15-minute time frame. So this is what I thought, right? We saw this rejection, right? So this entire section is a lower high from where I showed you earlier. We came down, came back up, and we couldn't close above, right? Closed above here, but we couldn't. So again, this is on a smaller time frame, a lower high. Started seeing price make its way down. Again, you can see here, there wasn't very much bearish volume. We started making our way down, Then I saw this candlestick here. This was a pretty bearish one. And what it did is it closed below this immediate or local support. I'm pretty sure this is how I did it, right? I can't remember exactly. So I saw price holding above here. And then once I saw it come down, I did not wait for the candle to close. I just entered short because I saw it break with a very strong volume. When I see little or just any sort of key levels, local support, local resistance, in this case it was a break of a support. When I saw a break with this high volume, for me that's a strong indication that we're going to continue to the downside. So I entered short there with stops just above the last high, because if we did see price reject here and come back up and pretty much break these highs, then that would invalidate the whole trade, because then we could have made our way up. Now, you could argue that we could have seen a double top from here, and I could have sold from there, but the fact that we were above the key level, I would not be too keen on selling it. So I saw price stay below, saw a series of lower lows and lower highs, entered short and held. And as you can see, it actually played out really well to my favor. Price dropped really fast. We broke through this previous key level here, or just the local support. We broke through and then we saw price started consolidating. Now, my whole plan was I wasn't going to take profits or close the trade until we saw a break above pretty much like, this is a support. We broke through, we turned it into resistance. So for me, I wanted to see it stay as resistance. But the fact that I saw it break up, I started seeing this bullish volume picking up. I was like, look, this invalidates my trade and I'm happy to take profits here. So I closed the trade here for roughly, it was a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. So risk 1%, took 5 out. Now we've seen price come back down below this support. Now it's acting as a resistance. So I entered again. And now we're just waiting to see how this plays out. Currently, what I think it is it looks like a bearish flag. I think that's what it's called. I'm not too good with like the names and stuff, but this is pretty much what I see. Price is just consolidating at the moment within this channel, and I will close my trade if we break above the previous high, or if we go back above what is currently the resistance. So I'm not scared of this drawdown, just because we are still following a bearish trend, and I haven't seen any sort of like break in market structure. Really, a strong break would be above this channel, but I did use leverage on this trade, so I do want to keep my stop loss a little bit tighter, just so I don't lose as much. So what I'm currently expecting is price to come into this zone and reject somewhere in here. Now, if we chuck on the session volume, we can actually see that the highest amount of volume in the session is this red line, the point of control. Price has come up to the point of control. If we see it reject it again, and if I do see strong bearish volume, then that's good for me, because more than likely we're going to see price melt down below. Target for BTC is 24k, which is a significant way down, but that's just personally where I think it's going to go. Now let's go into Solana. Very, very similar setup. You know, I looked at the higher time frames and determined that we are in the bear trend because we're making lower lows and lower highs. It's much more clear here. You can see here we have the high, we have the low, lower high, lower low. So we broke below there. Now let's go into more detail. See, I just used the higher time frames just to determine my trend and my bias. Let's go into the daily. And on the daily, I found this trend line and I marked this low as the support, right? Because we saw price come all the way down here, stopped, and then made its way up. So this is obviously where the buyers are. So that would be my target. But my long-term target is actually $20 for Solana. So pretty much I saw this trend line and I wanted to short from this trend line because as you can see, every time we touch it, it is a lower high. We're making lower lows and lower highs even on the shorter time frame. So let's go into a little bit more detail. Now this trade was a 1 to 5.3 risk to reward ratio. So I risked 1%, made 5.3. So this is what I saw. I saw price come up to the trend line. We did close above, but that's not enough. I'm not looking to go long because the overall market structure is signaling bearish trend. So I'm looking for shorts. So we broke above and you know, that's not convincing enough for me. I wanted to see what price does next. We came back down in below the trend line. From there, I saw this little double top sort of formation. So you can even drag this across there. Price broke below here. We came back up and rejected the trend line and this key level here. So in the smaller time frames, we were making higher highs and higher lows, but now we broke structure. We couldn't break above the trend line, so we came down, formed a lower high from these highs here. If you're a Fibonacci trade, I'm sure this would line up as like a fib something here. Yeah, exactly. So within this area is the golden zone, which is this 0.618 to the 0.5. We saw, we couldn't break above the 0.618. We formed a lower high. We rejected the trend line. We rejected this key level. So then I wanted to see some sort of bearish movement to the downside. And I wanted to use this volume here as well. So you can see here on the 15-minute, we touched the trend line with this doji. I waited because look here, still bullish volume. Came across here. Now the bears started kicking in. Boom. Here we saw even more bearish volume, and since I saw the bearish volume starting to take over, I just entered short. Like all my confluences were there, and yeah, price melted. We saw price come down to here and started consolidating. So I drew this trend line, and silly me, I didn't actually follow my plan because what happened was I saw price come up to here and I closed it. But why? I actually don't know why. I did not follow my plan because my plan would have been to wait for a break of structure, which means I wanted to see a higher high or higher low, something like that. Currently, this would have been the higher high. I would have needed to see price break above this level to invalidate my trade and therefore close it. But no, I closed prematurely. I took profits, and as you can see, look what happened. Price did treat like, it did create this lower high. Boom, 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 melted down. Could have kept so much more profits. Like, what if I drag this down? Currently, that would have been 7.8%. But look, can't beat myself over it. Just need to be more aware next time to make sure I double check my plan, make sure that I only take profits or close the trade when it suits or, does what my trading plan does. So price had come down very strongly. You can see this bearish volume. It's come back up, and look, if I wanted to be greedy, I could just short from here, but I've already taken the trade. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just going to look for the next perfect setup, because for all we know, look at the volume here, like it's bullish volume. So for all we know, we could see price make its way back up, and personally what I think it's going to do is probably come around to this area here. I do believe that Sol may be able to reclaim this area before dropping, because we got to ask ourselves, like, where was price before we really saw it melt? And it was within this area, so not too keen on taking any more shorts down here. I would rather wait for price to come back up into this area. So let's see where the volume is. boom, there you go. The volume is actually above this trend line. So for me, what I would like to do is take a short from here. As long as I see the rejection, the volume, or my confluences, place my stops above the last high, which is roughly above my last entry, and then short it all the way down to 20k, which would give me a 1 to 6.5 risk to reward ratio. So that's pretty much a breakdown of my trade, or both my trades. Pretty simple. Not hard trades to take. It was just a matter of patience and matching the right confluences. And yeah, I mean, it was a 10% day. If I had entered the FTMO challenge today and taken these trades, I would have already passed the first stage with 2 trades. But look, I'm in no rush. I know I have the skill set, so whatever. I'm just taking my time. I'm trading, perfecting my craft. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. FTMO Let's Go episode 1 will also drop tonight. It is currently 10:15 p.m. I've been a bit slack. I was supposed to release it yesterday, but look, things aren't perfect. Things get in the way. So yeah, I got time to film and post now, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Anyways, if you have any questions or comments, drop it down in the comment section below. I'm going to be breaking down every trade like this again and putting it on my YouTube. It may or may not be a part of the FTMO Let's Go series, just like this one. But hey, you still get the breakdown, you get the analysis, you get the value. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in FTMO Let's Go episode 1 for season 2.